Ana de Smart Mind é uma escola canadense que oferece cursos de inglês, francês e imigração. Os vídeos estão em inglês ou francês para você se acostumar com a pronúncia. Os professores que sabem português vão te ajudar. Aqui, você vai ver um texto, uma regra gramatical e um exercício. Vamos embora.
Hi, welcome back to Canada's Smart Mind. Today, you see how we can apply the lexical approach. You are going to see here 1. A text, to improve your pronunciation, 2. A grammar explanation, to know how to say your things, 3. An exercise, to consolidate your knowledge. Pay close attention to this video to find out how. 1. Text.
As the United States pushes to use more low-carbon energy, there has been a recent improvement in relations between the hydropower industry and some environmental groups. The recent compromises are found in President Joe Biden's infrastructure law, which puts $2.5 billion toward projects including dam removals, as well as improvements to existing structures for hydropower and energy storage. Ted Ilston of American Rivers, a group that has pushed for dam removals on environmental grounds, recently told the Associated Press that the group recognizes that hydropower is probably going to play some role in the transition. It's certainly better than coal. Hydropower uses flowing water to move turbines connected to generators. It is the oldest and second largest sort of renewable energy in the U.S. after wind power. In 2020, it accounted for roughly 7% of the electricity generated in the country. The industry has not received as much federal money as wind and solar, but sees room for growth. Of the 90,000 dams in the country, about 2,500 produce power. Non-powered dams could produce enough power for 9 to 12 million homes, said an estimate by the Electric Power Supply Association based on federal data from 2012. In southwestern Pennsylvania, Rye Development, a Boston-based hydropower company, is adding turbines to 8 dams to generate electricity. The company says the improved structures will limit damage to the river's water quality and fish. Rye is among the companies that sees an opportunity to expand hydropower production at existing dams while working to minimize environmental harms. Part of the difficulty is that most dams in the U.S. were built more than 50 years ago. The risk of dam collapses has led to increased dam removals or demolitions in recent years, with more than 40% of the country's dam removals in the past century happening in the last 10 years. Last month, federal officials moved a step closer to approving what would be the largest dam demolition in U.S. history. Removal of the 4 hydroelectric dams on the Klamath River near the Oregon-California border would help save the river's salmon and other fish species that cannot reach breeding areas because of the structures. Despite some recent improvements in relations between the hydropower industry and environmental groups, there are still disagreements. On Maine's Kennebec River, environmental groups and state environmental agencies are pushing for the removal of 4 hydropower dams that block endangered Atlantic salmon from reaching key areas. The dams make about 5% of the state's renewable energy. Shannon Ames of the Low Impact Hydropower Institute said, "It's very easy for individual river systems to get lost in the message of climate change and the need for renewable energy. With drought affecting hydropower production in America's West, the industry has a more direct path to growth in eastern states. In Pennsylvania, RIE met with the Low Impact Hydropower Institute early in its process and is among a small number of companies seeking certification from the group. To get certified, companies must show their structures meet protections for endangered species. The group says its environmental requirements are often stricter than state or federal rules. I'm John Russell.
Agora você tem o texto. Lembre-se de entrar em contato. Na descrição você tem o nosso contato.
Now, you have the text to help you to improve your pronunciation. Now, you will have this, too, grammar explanation.
Grammar vocabulary, active voice. In the active voice, the subject of the verb does the action. They killed the president. See also passive voice, adjective, a word like big, red, easy, French etc. An adjective describes a noun or pronoun. Adverb, a word like slowly, quietly, well, often etc. An adverb modifies a verb. Article, the indefinite articles are and the definite article is the auxiliary verb, a verb that is used with the main verb be, do, and have. Our auxiliary verbs can, may, must etc. are modal auxiliary verbs. Clause, a group of words containing a subject and its verb. For example, it was late when he arrived. Conjunction, a word used to connect words, phrases and clauses. For example, and, but, if, infinitive, the basic form of a verb, as in to work or work. Interjection, an exclamation inserted into an utterance without grammatical connection. For example, oh, ah, ouch, well. Modal verb, an auxiliary verb like can, may, must etc. that modifies the main verb and expresses possibility, probability etc. It is also called modal auxiliary verb. Noun, a word like table, dog, teacher, America etc. A noun is the name of an object, concept, person or place. A concrete noun is something you can see or touch like a person or car. An abstract noun is something that you cannot see or touch like a decision or happiness. A countable noun is something that you can count, for example, bottle, song, dollar. An uncountable noun is something that you cannot count, for example, water, music, money, object. In the active voice, an noun or its equivalent that receives the action of the verb. In the passive voice, an noun or its equivalent that does the action of the verb. Participle, the ing and ed forms of verbs. The ing form is called the present participle. The ed form is called the past participle. For irregular verbs, this is column 3, part of speech, one of the 8 classes of word in English: noun, verb, adjective, adverb, pronoun, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Passive voice, in the passive voice, the subject receives the action of the verb. The president was killed. See also active voice, phrase, a group of words not containing a subject and its verb. Egg on the table, the girl in a red dress. Predicate, each sentence contains or implies 2 parts, a subject and a predicate. The predicate is what is said about the subject. Preposition, a word like at, to, in, over etc. Prepositions usually come before a noun and give information about things like time, place and direction. Pronoun, a word like I, me, you, he, him, it etc. A pronoun replaces a noun. Sentence, a group of words that express a thought. A sentence conveys a statement, question, exclamation, or command. A sentence contains or implies a subject and a predicate. In simple terms, a sentence must contain a verb and, usually, a subject. A sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop, question mark or exclamation mark. Subject, every sentence contains or implies 2 parts, a subject and a predicate. The subject is the main noun or equivalent in a sentence about which something is said. Tense, the form of a verb that shows us when the action or state happens, past, present, or future. Note that the name of a tense is not always a guide to when the action happens. The present continuous tense, for example, can be used to talk about the present or the future. Verb, a word like to, work, to, love, to, begin. A verb describes an action or state.
Agora você tem a regra gramatical. Lembre-se de entrar em contato. Na descrição você tem o nosso contato.
Now, you have the grammar rule to help you to use formal and right English. Now, the exercise 3, exercise.
Grammar vocabulary quiz. 1. Which sentence is in the active voice? John wrote the song. The song was written by John. 2. In the active voice, the action is done by The subject before the verb, the object after the verb. 3 adjectives are words that describe. Verbs or adverbs, nouns or pronouns. 4 in which sentence is fast, an adjective. He's a fast runner, he can run fast. 5 an adverb is a word that can modify. Nouns, verbs. 6 in which sentence is fast, an adverb. He's got a fast car, he drives fast. 7 which of these articles is an indefinite article? The. 8 which sentence contains a definite article? We saw a movie, the movie was great. 9 an auxiliary verb is used with a proper noun, a main verb. 10 in the question, did you win? Which is the auxiliary verb? Did win. Answer. 1 John wrote the song. 2 the subject before the verb. 3 nouns or pronouns. 4 he's a fast runner. 5 verbs. 6 he drives fast. 7 a. 8 the movie was great. 9 a main verb. 10 did.
Agora você tem o exercício, lembre-se de entrar em contato. Na descrição você tem o nosso contato.
Now, you have to exercise to help to consolidate what you have learned. We will love to read your comments about this video. Thank you very much for watching this video, and be sure to be in touch with us, keep up there, and write your story. I'll see you at the next one. Bye for now.